Launched in 2003, MySpace rocketed to the top of the social networking world, only to crash just as spectacularly. At its height, MySpace boasted over 300 million users and a valuation of $12 billion. Only a few years later, it was dethroned by Facebook and sold for a mere $35 million. How did the world's biggest social network lose its crown so quickly? This case study explores MySpace's exhilarating rise, its rapid decline, and the lessons learned from the collapse. MySpace was founded in 2003 by Tom Anderson and Chris DeWolf, who were employees at an internet marketing company called Universe, later Intermix Media. Inspired by early social sites like Friendster, they set out to create a platform where people could connect with friends, share interests, and express themselves online. MySpace allowed users to create personal profiles, blog posts, and friend lists, essentially giving everyone their own little corner of the internet. From the start, MySpace had a strong focus on music and pop culture, attracting bands and artists who used the site to reach fans. This gave MySpace a cool factor and drew in young users looking for a vibrant, creative online community. The site's growth was explosive. Within its first year, MySpace gained over 5 million users and quickly became one of the most visited social networking sites. Its appeal lay in how much freedom it gave users. You could deck out your profile with custom backgrounds, glittery graphics, and a personal music playlist. This kind of profile personalization was new and exciting. Your page truly reflected your personality, something rival sites didn't offer at the time. By 2005, MySpace was the place to be online for teenagers and 20-somethings, serving as a launchpad for artists like Arctic Monkeys and Lily Allen, and a hangout for friends to share messages, photos, and the latest viral videos. The young startup's success was drawing serious attention. By the mid-2000s, the startup's success drew attention from major media moguls. In 2005, Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation purchased MySpace and its parent Intermix for $580 million, looking to capitalize on the site's meteoric rise. The infusion of corporate resources helped MySpace expand even further. It went international and struck lucrative deals, including a $900 million advertising pact with Google to power web search on the site. At one point in 2006, MySpace even surpassed Google to become the most visited website in the United States. The social network had become a cultural phenomenon. By 2007, MySpace appeared unstoppable. The site had over 300 million registered users and was valued as high as $12 billion during a proposed merger discussion with Yahoo, far outpacing a fledgling Facebook at the time. MySpace's revenue was soaring too, thanks largely to advertising. The company's pages were brimming with banner ads and sponsored content deals with major brands. In fact, News Corp reportedly expected MySpace to soon generate $1 billion in annual revenue, an expectation it ultimately never met. MySpace was sitting atop the tech world, and for its founders and new owners, the future looked bright. The beginning of the end for MySpace can be traced to a series of strategic missteps and rising competition. A pivotal moment was the heavy emphasis on monetization after the News Corp acquisition. MySpace's new corporate parent was eager to recoup its investment, so the site was plastered with more and more advertisements. This ad overload gradually poisoned the user experience. Pages became cluttered with banner ads, auto-playing media, and promotions, on top of the already busy custom layouts users had designed. Profiles often took ages to load and felt chaotic. A former MySpace executive later admitted that the massive $900 million Google ad deal, while a short-term windfall, forced MySpace to prioritize ad placement over user-friendly design. The team was locked into keeping the site formulaic and ad-heavy to meet revenue targets, leaving little room to improve features or clean up the interface. In short, MySpace chased short-term profit at the expense of product quality, a decision that drove users away in droves. Around the same time, Facebook emerged as a formidable rival. In a twist of fate, MySpace actually had an early chance to buy Facebook for $75 million, but reportedly turned Mark Zuckerberg down as the price seemed too high. That missed opportunity proved costly. By 2007-2008, Facebook opened to the general public and offered something MySpace did not: a clean, fast, and easy-to-use social network. Facebook's profiles were simple and uniform, no blaring wallpaper or sparkly cursor animations, and the site had an addictive newsfeed to keep people engaged. One by one, users, especially the college and high school crowd, began migrating to Facebook, which they found fresh and uncluttered in contrast to MySpace. In April 2008, Facebook overtook MySpace in website traffic, signaling a power shift in social media. By 2009, Facebook surpassed MySpace in U.S. unique visitors, and the trend only accelerated from there. In fact, a tongue-in-cheek International Delete Your MySpace Account Day was declared in 2008, urging everyone to jump ship to Facebook. As MySpace struggled to keep users, it was also grappling with technical and image problems. The site's open customization, once its hallmark, became a double-edged sword. It made it harder to implement new features and allowed spam and malware to proliferate. MySpace pages were notoriously vulnerable to phishing and hacking tricks. Even worse, the media began portraying MySpace as a haven for unsavory elements. In 2006, the Attorney General of Connecticut launched an investigation into child safety on MySpace amid reports of minors encountering sexual predators on the platform. This resulted in a wave of negative headlines calling MySpace a vortex of perversion, damaging the brand's reputation. Concerned parents discouraged their teens from using the site. In contrast, Facebook, with its cleaner real-name environment, was seen as a safer space. MySpace's Wild West freedom had created a trust and safety crisis that it failed to effectively address. Leadership turmoil at MySpace further hastened its downfall. After disappointing results in 2008, MySpace's co-founder CEO Chris DeWolf resigned under pressure, and President Tom Anderson, the famous default Tom friend on every profile, also stepped aside. In 2009, News Corp installed Owen Van Natta, a former Facebook executive, as the new CEO to try to turn things around. Van Natta moved quickly. He cut nearly 30% of MySpace's staff to reduce bloat, shrinking the team from around 1,000 employees to 700. But even drastic cuts couldn't fix the core issues. Frustrated by the slow pace of change and an entrenched culture resistant to overhaul, Van Natta left the CEO job after only about 9 months on the job. Management changed yet again, but by then MySpace had lost any momentum in the social media race. By 2010, the once mighty MySpace was in freefall. Users were leaving at an alarming rate. In early 2011, MySpace lost 10 million users in a single month, plunging from 73 million to 63 million between January and February. Year over year, its traffic was down 44%, and advertisers were no longer confident in the platform. The site that had been a cultural icon just a few years prior was now widely seen as obsolete. Facing the inevitable, News Corporation officially put MySpace up for sale in 2011 at an asking price in the range of just $5,200 million, a fraction of the $580 million Murdoch had paid. Even at that steep discount, bidders were scarce due to MySpace's continued tailspin. In June 2011, the end of the MySpace era finally arrived. Specific Media, an online advertising company, agreed to acquire MySpace for a mere $35 million. As part of the deal, pop superstar Justin Timberlake took a minority stake and a role in revamping MySpace's music offerings, a last-ditch effort to relaunch the brand. The sale price was staggeringly low. News Corp had lost over $500 million on its MySpace adventure. Rupert Murdoch himself admitted the purchase was a huge mistake. MySpace's decline was so severe that it even dragged down News Corp's financials. The site incurred $156 million in losses in the last quarter of 2010 alone, hurting the parent company's earnings. After the sale, MySpace was no longer a social media titan, but a cautionary tale. The new owners tried to pivot it back to a niche music sharing site, but it never regained significant traction. In the following years, MySpace changed hands again and largely faded from public consciousness. By 2019, it was mostly an online archive of old profiles and songs with little active user activity. The once dominant network had effectively become a ghost town. MySpace's dramatic rise and fall offers rich lessons for entrepreneurs, tech leaders, and users alike. Here are some key takeaways from the collapse of this tech giant. First mover advantage isn't enough. Innovation and agility are vital. MySpace may have been the pioneer, but it was outpaced when a competitor, Facebook, offered a cleaner, more engaging experience. Being first to market gave MySpace a head start, but it lost its lead by standing still while others innovated. User experience is king. Never sacrifice the user experience for short-term revenue. MySpace's pages became overloaded with ads and gimmicks, making the site slow and frustrating to use. In contrast, Facebook kept its interface simple and user-friendly. When MySpace put profits over people, its users voted with their feet. Continuous improvement beats complacency. The tech world moves fast and platforms must evolve. Facebook and Twitter continuously rolled out new features and improvements, whereas MySpace's development stagnated, in part due to that restrictive Google ad deal. MySpace learned the hard way that failing to adapt is fatal in technology. Protect your brand and community. MySpace failed to effectively tackle spam, malware, and safety issues on its platform. As a result, it developed a bad reputation that drove users and their parents away. Trust is hard to earn and easy to lose. Companies must invest in security, moderation, and community trust, or risk people fleeing to safer havens. Strategic vision matters. Beware of mismanagement. Under News Corp, MySpace was pushed to focus on immediate monetization at the expense of long-term strategy. Internal mismanagement and culture clashes further hampered its ability to respond to challenges. A strong strategic vision and user-focused leadership might have steered MySpace differently. Corporate owners and startup founders alike should remember to keep long-term product value at the forefront, not just short-term gains. In hindsight, MySpace's fall seems almost inevitable. A perfect storm of strategic errors, fierce competition, and changing user tastes. Yet at its peak, few could have predicted that the social networking king would collapse so completely. The story of MySpace serves as an enduring reminder that in tech, today's giant can become tomorrow's cautionary tale. MySpace's legacy is more than just nostalgia. It's a lesson in how not to lose an